What's up guys, it's Goji Berry here, and in this video we're going to be looking at Final Fantasy VII Remake, specifically Chapter 1, and I'm actually in Chapter 2 right now, but I figured I'd make a tutorial on Chapter 1 hard mode, since I just got through with it, and there were a few things that I learned from that chapter, and so in this video I'm going to break down the tactics and the setup that I used to beat Chapter 1 fairly easily. And so if you're having problems with Chapter 1, this is definitely the video for you, so stick around. Starting off with my setup, in Chapter 1 you're going to be using Barret and Cloud. For Cloud, my setup was the Twin Stinger, the Chain Bangle, and the Healing Carcanet, however you say that. And the materia that I would recommend highly would be the Elemental materia and the Fire materia for Cloud. That way his attacks have fire, elemental damage to them. And the second set really doesn't matter. I have Luck Up material and AP Up materia, trying to level up my luck. And the secondary that I would recommend you definitely have on Cloud would be a Healing materia and Magnify materia. This way you can party heal the entire group. You can also have Prayer, that works as well. Also, the two materias that you want to have for elemental damage is Lightning and Fire. And then I usually run an ATB boost on Cloud and a First Strike materia on Cloud as well. That way he has some of his ATB gauge. And the reason that I use Fire and Elemental materia on Cloud is because when you start off in this chapter, you just have Cloud. And the enemies that you face are pretty weak, but they are weak to fire. So this helps you go through them and knock them out, kill them quickly, stagger them, and also stagger the dogs a little bit quicker. And not only that, but in the beginning of this chapter you really want to preserve your MP, since in hard mode you can't use items. So that's how you get through the first of it. And then once Barret comes along, you want to make sure that he's set up for the boss fight, kind of the end of the battles and then the boss fight mostly. So for Barret, his setup for me is the Light Machine Gun, Supreme Bracer, and Champion Belt. I'm sure you can get away with another long range weapon. I wouldn't use his Steel Pincers or his Wrecking Ball. That might be kind of counterintuitive in this chapter because there are some enemies that you can only reach long range. As for his materia, I definitely have Lightning materia and Elemental materia. So with Barret, I'm shooting lightning out of his weapon, which is a big deal in this, and helps you stagger the boss a little bit, and it also helps you stagger some of the harder enemies. So I have this on Barret. I also have MP Up materia on Barret. Feel free to add this to Barret or Cloud. MP is always great in hard mode since you can't use items. Another big thing that I have on Barret is Revival materia, and that's so I can revive someone in the party. I would recommend having this on Barret. Cloud, for me, for some reason, tended to die easier in Chapter 1 hard mode. Then I have a Healing materia on Barret and an HP Up materia on Barret. You don't have to go with a Healing materia. Once again guys, you could use Prayer or something here. But this is the main setup that I went with for Chapter 1 hard mode. Alright guys, so now we're going to break down Chapter 1 as a whole. As I've already told you, I tried to preserve MP during the beginning of Chapter 1. That way I can use it strictly for the boss fights and for the harder enemies if I need to. So depending on what enemies you're facing, I'm using Barret or Cloud to add on elemental damage with their normal attack. And this is going to help you stagger the enemies along the way to the boss. So that's my first tactic. Now we're going to jump into the actual tactics of killing this boss. right when the boss starts, I want to roll around, dodge his first attack with Cloud, and then I want to do a focused thrust ability on the Scorpion with Cloud. Then I want to automatically come over to Barret and start firing my main attack, because my main attack is the Scorpion's weakness, and it actually increases his stagger bar and gets him closer to being pressured. Once I get Barret's ATB up twice, I'm using the Maximum Fury, and once he's going and doing his Maximum Fury, I'm switching over to Cloud and just getting that pressure bar up, trying to get that stagger. And once I get that stagger, or get close to that stagger, I then want to switch over to Barret and get his ATB gauge up. Once you stagger the Scorpion Sentinel, basically you want to go straight to Barret and you want to use Thundara. So not Thundaga, but Thundara. And then once you use Thundara, then basically it's going to do a huge chunk of damage. You're going to do that twice to him, and that's automatically going to push him into the next phase. Once he gets to the next phase, you want to switch over to Cloud because he has fire on his sword and he has a fire elemental spell. You want to go straight to the back, and you basically want to use Fire on the field generator. And basically his second phase is you want to use Fire twice on his field generator, and that's basically going to cut out his shield. Once you cut out his shield, it's the same as the first part. So once you cut out his shield, you want to go back over to Barret and you want to fill up that gauge. While you're behind him though, do be careful with Cloud because his tail attacks are super strong and will kill Cloud fairly easily if you're not careful. You're focus thrusting with Cloud, and then you're using Maximum Fury with Barret to bring up his pressure gauge until he is staggered. In the second phase for the Scorpion Sentinel, if you have low MP with Barret, let's say you have around 30 to 40 MP with Barret at this point in the second phase, you may want to hold off using Thundara like you did in the first phase. Instead, you may just want to continue using Maximum Fury and forcing the robot into his third phase. Once you do enough damage to push him into his third phase, there's a few things that you want to make sure you do. The first thing is his tail laser will strike twice instead of one time, so you want to make sure that you dodge the first one and then move over to the second pile and immediately dodge the second one. A trick about the tail laser is if you are Cloud, he will focus Cloud for the first tail laser, and then you can move Cloud over and he'll focus Cloud for the second one. But you can switch over to Barret simultaneously and already start attacking him while he's focused on Cloud. And so you can get that stagger bar up while he's shooting his laser at Cloud. And so for his third phase, it's the same stuff. You want to get his stagger up with Barret, you want to be using focus thrust, and you want to make sure that you're blocking in this phase. So especially in this phase when he's doing different moves, that you're blocking this, blocking the damage that's coming to each one of your characters. You want to make sure that you're using Barret to increase his pressure gauge. And basically those are the tactics in the third step. So in his third phase, it's going to be very difficult to get him pressured, and you want to make sure that you're blocking the big attacks and healing during this phase with Cloud, trying to conserve your MP with Barret. And once you get him staggered the first time, you should be able to do enough damage to put him into the fourth stage, which is the final stage, where he is immobile. In this stage, I would highly recommend that you get him close to the end, immediately summon Ifrit if you can, and then continue doing damage. I would not use Shiva. Personally, I used Ifrit, and Ifrit kind of kicked his ass. But one thing I would tell you also is do not be afraid to use Cloud's limit. in the final fight. It does quite a bit of damage in his 4th phase, and it will help you out a lot. But as long as you manage to fight him in the 4th phase, stay alive while Ifrit is pounding on him, then you should be able to kill him with double limits at the end. Alright guys, and that's the last tips I have for the boss, and those are the tactics that I use to take him down fairly easily. The last thing that you'll have to do in this chapter is get through the rest of the minions, the enemies, on your way out of the Mako reactor. This should not be that difficult. The only 2 things that you'll have to remember is that you do need a little bit of MP left over to kill the sweeper. You can defeat him without MP, but it can be a little bit difficult. Also, you have to remember to block and counter the shock troopers, so make sure that you are in the Punisher mode and that your counter stance is up, and you can stagger these guys quickly and efficiently. Other than that, you should be good to go, but I will say you do need a little bit of MP left over after the boss, just in case for some heals and etc, etc. And so those are my tips for escaping the Mako plant and killing the rest of the enemies. Alright guys, that's my tips for Chapter 1 Hard Mode, and if this helps you guys out, let me know in the comments below. It should help you get through Chapter 1 Hard Mode really quickly and easily. Hopefully you guys don't have as many problems as I had, but thank you so much for watching. If you like this content and you want to see some more, please support the channel. I work very hard on this content, and I would love to see you guys in the comments below if you found out any secrets or any tricks or tips that I didn't cover in this video. Once again guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.